Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are sharing one of our most requested video from our trip to Alaska on Christmas 2019. This was around the time when coronavirus was still in its early stage and traveling was risk-free.
Many Alaskan cities see only a few hours of sunlight each day before the blanket of night returns. So on our day one in Anchorage, it was already starting to get dark around 3 p.m. as we got out of the airport. And so we just checked into our hotel.
And this is what mornings look like in Alaska. This was around 10 in the morning and the sun has just begun to come up.
On day two, we drove from Anchorage to Whittier to see our first attraction, the Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel or the Whittier Tunnel, which is the longest highway tunnel in North America and the first designed for minus 40 Fahrenheit and 150 miles per hour winds. The one-lane tunnel is shared by cars and trains traveling in both directions, and it is usually needed to be aired out in between trips with jet turbines ventilation. The drive is only 10 minutes, but the opening can be delayed or there can be a line before you enter. Ticket starts at $13 and all tickets are a round trip.
On the other end of the tunnel is the city of Whittier, a small remote town 60 miles south of Anchorage, commonly referred to as a town under one roof, as a whole population of 217 people live in this building, and the city is only accessible by boat or the one-lane tunnel.
Next on our list was snow tubing in Arctic Valley. Arctic Valley is a great ski area with a family-friendly environment and is just 10 miles from downtown Anchorage. But we're not skiers, so we decided to do snow tubing instead. It's $16 per person and tickets can also be booked online.
For those of you who do not know what snow tubing is, it's basically allowing gravity, the snow and your tube take you on a fun, jolly ride downhill. You do not need to be a mountain expert to enjoy snow tubing. In fact, you don't have to have large muscles or incredible balance. So as long as you can sit down and hold tight, snow tubing is definitely the sports for you. And if you get too cold like we did, the ski area also has a small cafe where you can order a hot soup or other hot beverages. The next day, we drove to Talkeetna on our way to Fairbanks for a flight seeing experience over Denali Mountain. After a very smooth takeoff, we were in clouds and up and close with the mountains in no time. I also want to mention that the camera and phone batteries drain fast in these areas, so always have extra batteries or chargers cause it's so beautiful everywhere you go. Denali, which was previously called as Mount McKinley, standing at a staggering 20,310 feet, is the highest mountain peak in US, and to see it this close was an experience of a lifetime. I literally had goosebumps.
We also spotted a few ice caves and would love to go back sometimes to explore them better on foot. Our amazing pilot also told us about an exclusive, super luxurious lodging called the Sheldon Chalet right in the middle of the Denali National Park. So if you're super loaded, do check it out.
While driving to Fairbanks, we took a few random pictures of the sky turning colors to only realize it was the Northern Lights. Day 4 was Munchit's birthday and we decided to do something special, so we decided to stay overnight at the Chena Hot Springs, which is like an hour's drive from downtown Fairbanks. The hot spring is definitely a must-do if you're in Fairbanks. So as soon as we reached and found a parking spot, which was a real challenge, we collected our tickets to the Aurora Ice Museum, which was $15 per person.
The Aurora Ice Museum is an impressive display of ice carvings from world champion ice carvers Steve and Heather Bryce. It was built in 2005 out of snow and ice harvested from Chena Hot Springs Resort. Housed in a giant igloo replica with an internal temperature of 24 degrees Fahrenheit, going inside, you may need a parka.
Once you have completed the tour of the museum, you should then head to the bar to warm you up with their signature cocktail, an appletini served in a souvenir martini glass carved out of ice. And here's the birthday boy with a forced smile and the vegetarian dinner we ate at the restaurant in the resort.
We're at the pool, guys. Moment of truth. Can we do this?
There are both indoor and outdoor pools at the resort, and if you have a room booked with the resort, your pool pass and the towel service is included in your package, which would otherwise cost you $15 per person. The outdoor pool average temperature is 106 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, and the temperature outside the pool on this day was minus 36 Fahrenheit. I almost thought I was gonna die.
My eyelids are also frozen right now, so I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There's Lana. You see her hair is already wet. She's turned into a 70-year-old grandma.
Frozen.
This is Frozen.
I'm Elsa from Frozen.
Yay, I did not die. In fact, I ended up dancing in the snow. I had seen so many pictures on Instagram of this spot at the Chena River, which sits at the entrance of the resort, and could not resist taking pictures.
On Christmas Eve, we had a reservation with our tour company for a drive and a hike in the Denali National Park. Our guide stopped at a couple of beautiful locations for photo opportunity, and we spotted a mama and baby moose on the road. Needless to say, the view was spellbinding.
Mama and baby.
No trip to Alaska is complete without a visit to the Denali National Park, which is home to grizzly bears, wolves, moose, caribou, Dall sheep, foxes, and many more small mammals. And this is me doing a warm-up before the hike.
Our hike was about hour and a half, including the break for a quick lunch. It was a frigid day for a hike in Denali, and I could not have made it without my hand and foot warmer. But we did notice some small animal paw prints in the snow and finally saw lonely snowshoe hare. Okay, we have a rabbit in front of us. Charlie, we have a rabbit. Charlie, we have a rabbit. Oh, there he goes.
But our day was far from over. For our return journey, we had booked a train to Fairbanks, and we had never traveled on a train in US, so this was a pretty fun thing to do. The coach was quite full and had a lot of tourists. The train also has a cafe as well as a restaurant on board, and we were also lucky to find a vegetarian food option, some sort of curry, although my appetite died the moment I saw reindeer meat on the menu. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm sure that's a regular food item in colder areas like Alaska, so I don't mean to judge what people eat, but here's the menu and this is what we ate.
On Christmas, pretty much everything was closed in Fairbanks, but we decided to drive to North Pole to visit Santa Claus' house, which was only a 20-minute drive. Apparently, Santa and his reindeers were also on leave on Christmas Day, and so his workshop was also closed. But we went again the next day, and this is the video from then. Inside Santa's workshop, you can buy all kinds of Christmas decor and even personalized letters from Santa. They even have a whole corner dedicated to letters to Santa Claus sent by kids from all over the United States. And of course, no trip to Santa's house is complete without enjoying a delicious piece of fudge, coffee, cookies, chocolates, or candies from the sweet shop.
Later at night, we drove to Murphy's Dome to chase some northern lights, and boy, did we see it. They appeared first as some white smoke-like pattern, and when we took pictures and videos, we were able to see some really beautiful colors. Based on our experience, northern lights don't always appear green or blue and may look like some white cloud in a dark sky to naked eyes.
The next day, we had a booking for a day trip to the Arctic Circle, and on our way, we stopped at this place to see the Trans-Alaska Pipelines, one of the world's largest pipeline systems. There are more than 800 river and stream crossings and 3 mountain ranges that the pipeline crosses.
Dalton Highway is the only road in Alaska that crosses the Arctic Circle and is super scary because it's essentially just a gravel road reduced to zero visibility, potholes, and extreme Arctic weather. So be smart and hire a local driver. And that's the Dalton Highway road sign. And this is what we saw when we turned off the van's light at the road sign. Some more northern lights.
We took a break at this very cool spot called the Yukon River Camp, where the temperature had dropped to minus 57 degrees Fahrenheit. And there are not many rest areas on the Dalton Highway, so this was a big deal. We really loved their nature-friendly Christmas decor, and they offered lodging, gifts, and warm food. Definitely what we needed. Lana even found the best vegetarian bami sandwich here. We also left our name on their signature wall, so if you ever visit the place, do look for our names.
We finally made it to the Arctic Circle in the middle of the night and saw the most beautiful sky. Our camera battery died because of the cold, so we ended up making a video with our iPhone, and they even gave us a certificate for crossing the Arctic Circle. Pretty cool, right?
Day 9 was the baddest of all. We went for snowmobiling for an hour out in the cold in minus 36 degrees Fahrenheit, and I could barely see anything as my helmet and visor were fog freezing. And if I drove with my visor or helmet up, my cheeks would end up with frostbites. Meanwhile, Lana was just chilling, sitting behind me, recording the worst possible video of such a fun ride. Our weather-rated clothes were not warm enough for this kind of extreme activity, but thankfully our tour guide provided the right gear to us at no extra cost. We even rode the snowmobile on the road to cross a culvert. Man, that was so much fun. But that's not why it was so badass.
After this, as we were driving back to our hotel, we had an accident and our car ended up flying off the highway into a ditch. We're really thankful to the people of Fairbanks who stopped to check on us and even offered us warm water and food. One fine trucker came down to help us get back on the road. They even have a Facebook page called Fairbanks I'm Stuck, Come Pull Me Out. So I posted a request on it as well, but we really were in a deep ditch. And we were finally pulled up by a roadside assistance and we're just happy to be alive.
The next morning we went for dog sledding and met the most handsome pack of huskies. We were a little apprehensive of this activity as we both are dog lovers, but after talking to the dog mushers, we realized how much these dogs love playing in the snow, and they have really thick fur to keep them warm in extreme weathers.
They all look well fed and cared for, but I'm not sure if I can do this again. I had so many people tell me that this was so wrong of us to choose to ride those animals and that they should be left alone, so I don't really know.
Later that day, we drove back to Anchorage and passed through some very lonely ghost towns with no network coverage for miles. On our last day, we went to the Alaska Zoo, a home for orphaned, injured, and captive-born animals dedicated to the conservation of Arctic, subarctic, and like climate species. It is not a very big zoo and has about 100 birds and animals and can be covered in hour and a half.
Some of the animals we saw at the zoo included the gray wolves, a musk ox, wolverines, red fox, Bacterian camel, a lynx, and an alpaca, who also photobombed me. You can also book animal encounters, which is a popular choice for those wishing to go behind the scenes with zookeepers and meet zoo animals up close. These encounters are like an hour-long session and participants see training and feedings up close with the zookeeper. They also have a female polar bear which was in a different enclosure that day, close to public display, but we did eventually see her virtually at the cafe inside the zoo.
And lastly, we learned that it's nearly impossible to make a snowman or snowballs in powdery snow, which was the case everywhere we had been to in Alaska, because the snow just won't stick together. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. We will also be posting a video on what to pack for Alaska in winters. Ciao!
Thank you for watching this video. Hope it inspires you to travel to the last frontier someday. Till then, love and peace to you all!